Hello there, my name is Krista, and I'd like to reach out to the world and really discuss Hidradenitis suppurativa. Now, that's a long name for a very complicated skin disorder. It is debilitating. A lot of people watching this are probably thinking, yes, I think I have it, or yes, I know I have it, but I haven't been officially diagnosed. There's a lot of us that have been to the doctor many times asking, what are these lumps? Why are these gigantic marble, golf-sized, baseball-sized things, lumps under my skin? What are they? Explain it to me. I want an answer. And what is the treatment? So for me, I noticed some changes in my groin area around the bikini line when I was 13. So, puberty hits, and I started noticing what seemed to be ingrown hairs, but they were a little more like boils. So my mom and I could not figure out if it was ingrown hair or a boil or what. So she was putting boil salve on my lumps with a Band-Aid or a cotton ball and a piece of tape. And it seemed like the boil salve was helping a little bit to draw out like the pus and things like that. But the problem never went away. Like the root cause of the problem never went away. So my mom decided to buy me some very skimpy thong underwear, thinking that was going to help this condition. And maybe it did a little bit. But when I turned about 19 or so, I had a lump on my face. So it went from having lumps on my groin, and then I had this lump on my face that was like there was like a marble under there. And I tried to squeeze it, I tried to do different things, and nothing would happen. So I went to Dr. Rodan, which you would know as Dr. Rodan and Fields Proactive. They were selling Proactive at the office at the time. I think it was more of you could only buy it if you went to the office and purchased it. It wasn't like distributed on the web. I don't even think we had a website yet. Like, I don't even think the internet was happening for the public yet. So I just knew word of mouth about her and about the Proactive products, which my parents couldn't afford, so we didn't take home anything in it. And it's not like she diagnosed me with acne. I was not diagnosed with acne. I was diagnosed with a cystic acne spot. So she put a cortisone shot in it, and it was the most painful shot I've ever had in my life. It was extreme, and I'll never forget that pain of having cortisone injected into your face. But I think she put me on antibiotics too, and I want to say it was erythromycin. My stomach was so messed up. I had really bad gas, stomach cramps, and I don't know if doctors actually knew what was going on with me. So it took years down the line. I ended up getting jawline cystic acne. I lost a bunch of weight at some point, and I got a bunch of acne after I lost the weight. So I'm pretty sure that was related to the extreme weight loss. It was pretty quick. I took diet pills. I took ephedra, and I think I lost like 40 or 50 pounds pretty quick. And my skin was a mess, a wreck. And I started losing hair and, all this other stuff. But after that cleared up, I don't even know how it cleared up. I don't know what I did. Maybe I just started eating again, or just went back to my normal lifestyle, stopped taking the medications. But I started noticing more and more boils. I gained weight. So when I went off ephedra, I gained not only the weight I lost, but like maybe 20 to 30 pounds more, because that's sort of what happens when you go off medications like that. You gain back the weight and more, okay? I'm not an expert, so I can't really explain why that happens, but that's what happens to me every time I do something like that. I gain it all back and then some. So I started gaining weight, and I was diagnosed with PCOS and Hashimoto's at one point, and the boils around in my bikini line area were getting worse. Like I would have 2 or 3 going at the same time. And then I ended up starting to getting them under my arms and then on my breasts, one breast. And you could see the tracks, if you know what I mean. They're like they're giant pores that go in a straight line. So you can see the tract. If you squeeze it, like pus will come out of all of the holes at the same time. And so I knew that the HS was starting to show up in other parts of my body. It wasn't just the groin or my buttocks. It was now my breasts, underarms, and it eventually made its way to my face. And so I never had any boils up here, except for that one that was a long time ago when I was 19. But when I was about 30, I ended up getting the tracks in my face, and they're like in a straight line. There's a line, and they do drain once in a while. And I've had these for, God, years, like probably since 2007, 2008. And I've been to many, many dermatologists about it. And of course, I'm going to go to a dermatologist when it's something everybody can see. When no one can see something, I just kind of sweep it under the rug and say, okay, no one can see it, it's fine. But it got to the point where I had to take time off work for one of my groin cysts. It got very big and I couldn't sit down. So I had to lay down on my side while I waited for a miracle to happen, but it was so painful that I couldn't take it anymore. The pain was extreme. I went to the doctor and he said, I have to lance this and put a drain in it. So he lanced it, he numbed me, he lanced it, drained it, and put like a wick in it. And so he told me the next day, I want you to take a hot bath and I want you to pull the drain out. So that was the most horrific thing, mainly because I had to call off work. I had a new boss who had just started, and he wanted an explanation as to why I was taking off work. And I said, well, I have a very large nodule on my groin, and the doctor obviously wrote me a note to stay home for 4 days. And he goes, well, I don't understand why you can't work from home or whatever. And I'm like, oh, look, I can't even sit up straight. Like I wouldn't be able to get on a computer. Can you just let me be sick and leave me alone? I have a doctor's note. But in corporate worlds back in the early 2010s, I want to say this happened. A lot of bosses were not compassionate about your situation, especially working for a media company. And it was like, I need you here. Well, I'm sorry, I have I have an illness, right now. And so what ended up happening was this manager wrote on my year-end review that I'm sick all the time, that I have mystery illnesses that he doesn't understand. And this person was, I think, fired. That was the rumor, but that was on my record at work, my permanent record at work. And I had never heard anybody bring it up again because, I worked there for 9 years. Never heard anybody bring it up again, but the fact that that was in my file at my job that I had been at for almost a decade, I was just, what? I don't think that would happen now in 2025. I don't know. But going back to this issue, how I've been able to control it and put it into remission has been really tough. And I know it's going to be tough for a lot of people to do. I noticed my diet had a lot of seed oils in it. And I noticed my diet had a lot of fun foods like French fries and fried shrimp and chicken tenders and things that are breaded. A lot of carbs, a lot of preservatives, and just processed foods in general. And dairy. I love dairy. I can't really give that up, but I just had to, reevaluate everything and do an elimination diet. So, yes, I went to a naturopath. This was 10 years ago. I went to a naturopath. She knew about this whole situation. I became type 2 diabetic, and she put me on a very low carb diet for diabetics. And it was, basically just meat and vegetables, and organic vegetables at that. And a lot of supplements, you guys. And these were not supplements for HS. They were just for diabetes and weight loss and things like that. There was no stimulants or drugs involved. It was more like herbs. So, yeah, I got acupuncture. I was getting massages. I lost weight. I started working out a lot. But I found out that the more cardio I did, the more HS would flare. I noticed if I would do a lot of running or, aerobics and things like that, the more I would sweat, the more flare-ups I would have, okay? So I decided that I was going to take yoga and swim. And so I was doing those two things, and my weight started coming off. I was doing really well with the low carb and the workouts. I was doing weightlifting, which I don't sweat when I weightlift. It's kind of weird. But if I do it slow and controlled and not like, trying to beat the clock or anything like that, I won't break out into a sweat. That's just me. Some people will still break out in a sweat, but I just don't. But those are the only exercises I can do. I can't really get sweaty and go crazy, because it'll definitely flare up, especially around the groin and underarms and under the boobs, okay? Anywhere where there's a fold, pretty much, okay? So it limits my activity, but there's still so many more activities you can do to lose weight and build muscle without flaring HS, especially yoga and swimming. That were the two things that really worked out for me. I think Pilates was another one that I really enjoyed. So going on with this, I've only had my last big flare-up, I think, was about 3 years ago. And it was one of those ones where you had to sit in the bathtub with a needle, and I had to pop it because I wasn't able to walk. I couldn't sit down. I said, you know what? I don't want to go to a doctor. Don't take my advice. Go to the doctor and have it lanced. But I didn't want to go. So I did it myself. I did a DIY lance. And I was fine. I got lucky. I was very clean about it, very sterile about it. But it drained and drained and drained for a couple of days, and then it finally eventually went away. But I put a lot of iodine on it. I don't know if you're really supposed to do that, but I put a lot of iodine on it to dry it up. And then I started using my proactive products. So the benzoyl peroxide products, proactive, worked really well to dry up those lesions, boils that I had. So people do many different things. People have many different products that they use, but that worked for me. Benzoyl peroxide works on my face to dry up acne and heal it, and it worked down there as well. But you have to wear white underwear because it will bleach all of your underwear, all of your pants. It'll bleach everything. So be careful. But yeah, so as far as how I've been able to manage it, I went on an elimination diet last year, and it's better known as carnivore. I know a lot of people are going, oh God, carnivore. Yes, it is an elimination diet. So if you do some research on the subject of carnivore, it's strictly just meat. It's just meat and eggs. And some people also eat things like sauerkraut. I see people eating some greens, like some avocados. things like that. So I did just strictly meat and avocado and eggs, okay, for a long time, for like several months. And I didn't lose any weight, unfortunately. I thought I was going to. I didn't. I think I was eating way too much protein, and I didn't focus on mostly fats. I definitely didn't do it the way I was supposed to. I think I focused more on the protein and eating a lot of it and not really focusing on the fats. I think you're supposed to have, like for me, I'm diabetic, type 2. I'm supposed to have more fat than protein, but it's really hard to figure that out. I haven't really figured that out yet, but I will have to say I didn't have one breakout, one flare-up of HS during the time I did carnivore, okay? Like I said, that's just my opinion about it. It worked wonders for my skin. My skin cleared up and it started looking very glowy and youthful, and I just couldn't believe it at first. And then my brain, because my brain controls my stomach does not control my brain. My brain was telling me that I needed vegetables. I started craving it really badly, and I started introducing organic zucchini, cucumbers. I don't know if there's anything else I really added in. I think it was just cucumbers and zucchini and mushrooms. I started eating mushrooms, brown mushrooms, and everything has to be organic. I feel like the pesticides might have been contributing to a lot of things, so I wanted to make sure to stick with organic and see what happened. But I have not had a flare-up for a year or more. I want to say, ever since I started carnivore, and then I segued into keto-vor. So I'm still eating, lots of eggs, vegetables, things like that. I did gain a little bit of weight. There's a lot going on right now. My diabetes is kind of out of control at this point. I don't know why. There's multiple things probably going on that I need to get tested. But I eat very healthy. I eat, maybe twice a day. I don't eat breakfast. I do eat dairy, and that might be part of my problem. So I'm trying to cut down, not completely take it out, but I'm trying to cut down a little bit and see if that helps. So that's about it. As far as like salt content goes, I only use mineral salt, like Himalayan pink salt. I won't use table salt. I love Himalayan pink salt. I just sprinkle it very lightly on things. I use butter, pure butter. I don't use margarine. It's Irish butter. It's very good. You'll love it. Actually, I eat butter as a snack. I just chop off a little chunk and I eat that, and it actually satisfies me. And it also helps with digestion, so it'll help move the poo through the chute faster. You won't have like diarrhea or anything as far as what's happening to me. Like, I haven't had diarrhea from butter, but it definitely helps your bowel movements to go much smoother. And especially when you go on carnivore and keto, you can end up getting really constipated. And I think the butter is really the key to get things moving down there. So that's really all I've been doing for the past year, is really concentrating on not indulging in anything that comes in a box. I think the only thing that I eat that comes in a box is palmini palm hearts. So it is palm hearts that are shredded into what looks like spaghetti noodles, and you can add it to meat and vegetables, and I use a little bit of pasta sauce. I try to stay away from tomatoes, but I do indulge once in a while in a very organic, very clean pasta sauce that I found at Whole Foods. And very inexpensive. Whole Foods brand is very inexpensive. A lot of people want to come at me and say, oh, organic's expensive. But I'm like, if you go to Whole Foods and you look at their name brand, like frozen vegetables or name brand products, they're pretty inexpensive. I used to work there, so I kind of figured that out a long time ago. But so yeah, I mean, I am unemployed right now. I lost my job back in December, so I don't have access to, steak right now. I don't have access to good quality, like grass-fed, grass-finished, organic beef. I try to do what I can. I found grass-fed beef at grocery outlet for a pretty good price. So you can look around, you'll find something and stick with that. Sometimes I look for the chubs of beef. They're sometimes frozen, or, they come in a big like plastic tube, and you just kind of squeeze it out, and you take the meat that you want. And, you can make it with avocado. You could make lettuce wraps. You could do all kinds of different things with beef. It's just not a hamburger patty every day. You can really get in there and make like a cheese shell taco or something like that. There's so many things you can do with beef. So yeah, I'm not limited to just hamburger patties. But I just wanted to share that with you, especially with PCOS being a big factor in causing weight gain. I know that it's been a very challenging time when I have PCOS, and I have a lot of belly fat that I can't get rid of. A lot of PCOS people, we have the same belly. So we carry fat in like the inner areas, like under the arm here, inner thighs, belly, and then of course I don't have any fat on my butt at all. I wish all the fat would just go to my butt, but it doesn't. So and I don't want to get it surgically done either. So yeah, I do have to have my coffee. I drink decaf, and I put just heavy creamer in it, just pure heavy creamer, nothing low fat. If you notice, like, look at low fat milk, it has sugar in it. There's carbs in there, there's additives. So I just drink straight heavy cream. I haven't had any problems with it. But yeah, share your stories with me. I want to hear how you're dealing with HS through your diet. Okay, I don't want to hear about medications. I don't believe that medications are very helpful in managing disease, unless you have something that absolutely your life depends on it. But I feel like lifestyle is probably most of the issues, problems. So I know that my HS flares up when I eat bad food, like sugars, chocolate, donuts, pizza, real pasta. It'll flare up. So your body's telling you, like, hey, what you're putting inside is manifesting on the outside. It's telling you to stop eating this shit. So yeah, so try it out. Tell me what you've done. Tell me what your thoughts are when I hear your opinions on this. I'm just really curious, because I know there's a lot of people out there that struggle, and I try to help them, but they don't want to change their diet. And I said, just try it for like 2 weeks and see what happens. See how you feel mentally. You do, at the first week of it, you feel like you just want to scratch your eyeballs out, and you feel like really frustrated because you're so addicted to the other foods that you were eating before. And you do, when you release the toxins from all the sugars and the seed oils and things like that, your body starts to like, oh my God, I want it, and you start to have these cravings. But you really have to be strong and realize that you're not helping yourself by opening that box of Cheez-Its or the spicy Cheetos. As wonderful as they may sound to you, and they may taste, it's really the long-term effects from eating that short-term fun snack it's not worth it. It's not worth it, you guys. Seriously. So my heart's with you all. I know this disease is very, very tough to deal with. It is emotionally, it's very hard to talk about with your loved ones and friends. They don't understand. It's especially hard to talk to the doctors about it, because a lot of them don't know what it is. And some of them dangerously act like they do know what it is, and they start putting you on antibiotics, which does not really do anything unless you have an infection that you need antibiotics for. The root cause of it is yet to be found. We really don't know what it is. Oh, there needs to be more research on the subject. I really hope that they start researching HS. I would like to know if there's any groups that are doing research and if they've made any progress. Is there any new media articles about it? I haven't seen anything, but it's something that we really need to cure, even though not a lot of people have it, or maybe not a lot of people know that they have it. But you know, I've seen the surgery scars. I've seen pictures of people's, I don't know what you want to call it, the lesions, the bumps. I've seen some extreme photos about that. And I have some photos that I did keep for reference, but mine are not as bad as things that I've seen. I think the part for me that hurts the most is the scars. It feels great, like once you get rid of that boil or that whatever it is, it's like a big ball. It feels great once it's drained and it starts to heal. But when it leaves that hole in your skin, that scar that does not go away, no matter what makeup or, you know, skincare roller, you know, the needle, the, what do they call it? The micro needling. I've lasered, I've done a lot of stuff to my face to try to get rid of it. I actually went to Stanford and talked to a plastic surgeon, and he said that he wanted to use a circle, it was like a circular tool to punch out the skin and remove the holes. And I'm like, then what? Once you punch them out, is it a stitch? Like, I was like, I don't even want to mess with it right now. Like, don't mess with me. I think I've seen people have, like the microneedling done in the office where it's a little harsher than the home use tools. That might work, but I don't really have the funds to do that right now. It is an option that I'd like to explore, but I do really feel sad for the members that we've lost in our community due to, how do I put this? Self-counseling, not counseling, but canceling. Some people just couldn't live anymore with this disease, and it's just too painful. It's too emotionally damaging. And I think that some people just were so traumatized also. I mean, it's really traumatizing when you know, have like a new love interest in your life and you don't really know how to tell them that you have HS, and you think they're going to be disgusted by you and think you're like not touchable. These things go through your head and you start putting this narrative in your head that this person's never going to love you or think you're disgusting because you have this. And not only just that, but also the scars that are left behind, that you're going to have forever. Well, I hate to say that, but at least for me, I've had them for a really long time. I don't think the scars are going anywhere, but, it's very embarrassing. It's very embarrassing, and you don't know what people are thinking. Like when you undress and you look for a reaction, or you look to see if they're looking at it like in horror, it's scary. It's really scary. And you know, not only just having HS, but having also PCOS and having Hashimoto's and then having cancer and having my cancer tumor removed. I've been through a lot. And I will have to tell you that going on carnivore and switching over to keto also, I don't have as many problems as I did before. I still have PCOS. I still have it. It's not like things go away. There's no cure so far for PCOS. There's no cure so far for HS or Hashimoto's, right? So you just have to manage the disease responsibly. Just, it's very hard. I know. But I don't believe in the Humira or that kind of stuff. Like, some people have a really extreme case, but I think that what I would do is I would go on Humira, but then I would change my diet and see if I could eventually wean off of it. Because I feel like even like me with all these diseases and issues, I could still put HS into remission just by changing my diet. I think that a lot of people should just try this because you're missing out on the benefits. I know it's hard, guys. I know it. And I don't believe in things like Ozempic either. So I had a video up 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, about me taking Ozempic because I'm a type 2 diabetic and it was something the doctor prescribed. She accidentally gave me a very high dose of Ozempic for my first time. I had a full-on drug overdose. I was vomiting. My heart stopped multiple times. I believe that I did die and come back a couple of times because my heart was flatlined. I feel like I have a little bit of brain damage from the whole thing. And my cardiologist also thinks that I suffered a little brain damage as well. He said it does heal. He said the brain damage from something like this does take a couple years to heal, but he said eventually it should go back to normal. My memory has been horrible, but it had been. It was bad, but now it's getting much better, but it's still not 100%. So I've been through it. I don't think medications are just a Band-Aid to cover the problem, but it really does not get to the root cause and help put it in remission. I think you're just putting chemicals in, and I don't believe in it, so I'm sorry. I know people's lives have been saved by things like Humira and Ozempic, but I also think that it shouldn't be a lifelong drug that you take. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think you should really talk to a naturopath like I did a long time ago and get a diet plan in place. It could be autoimmune diet. I tried autoimmune diet. It was really good. It's actually pretty similar to keto. It's kind of similar to that. There's a lot of foods that they eliminate, like nightshades. That would be, all I can remember is tomatoes, and I can't have broccoli because it's a goitrogen. Cauliflower, something like that. I don't really eat that many vegetables anymore. I kind of gave up on that. I feel healthier without them, to be honest, and my numbers for my kidneys and my liver function have improved. So, and I'm not saying it's because I eliminated vegetables. It could be because I changed over to carnivore and then keto, eliminated all the processed foods. So join the community. Go on. The best place that because Facebook is really spammy. There's a lot of fake accounts and fake people saying that they lost 100 pounds doing this or that. So I try to avoid Facebook when I am looking up information on keto and carnivore. I joined the Instagram community. So if you follow me, I will put my information below how to follow me on Instagram. I do post recipes once in a while, not a lot, but I do share other people's recipes, and you can follow all the people that I follow, and that'll kind of help you get into that community. I also recommend, if you want, is start a new account in Instagram so that the algorithm will send you just carnivore and keto content, because that's what I did. So I started a new account and I only follow people in that community, and that's the only content I see. I don't see, I don't see beauty content. I don't see like local events and all this other stuff to dilute my feed. It's all carnivore and keto content. So I highly recommend doing that if you want to separate your accounts for different things. Yeah, so let me know, comment below, tell me your story, tell me how you're managing and dealing with this. Tell me if you just got diagnosed. I really want to try to help as many people as I can, because I feel like I've kind of got a handle on the situation, and I kind of stopped it in its tracks from getting worse. Although I started getting tracks up here, that's where my old, when I was 19, when I mentioned before, I had that big bump under here. I started getting a hole there, and I'm like, oh my God, no, I don't want any more holes in my face. So, I mean, I've already got this whole side. See, it's funny because when I go to the dermatologist, they say those are acne scars. And I say, I don't have any on this side. So explain that. I didn't have acne. I didn't have anything on this side at all. It was just right here, and they're tracks, and I see it goes in a line, and they go, oh, interesting. So try to find a specialist that deals with HS and see what they have to say, but keep in mind that they like to prescribe drugs so they can make money. So just be careful. Do some research on, natural ways to put this in remission, like what I'm doing. Anyway, sorry that was a long rant, and I'm really tired, so my words were kind of jumbled, but I hope I got the message across. I hope you guys are going to have a great summer. I know summer is when these flare-ups start to really get going and get fiery under there, so good luck to you this next summer. Take care.